The day where you are at home and do nothing anymore is the day when you will deteriorate. Because your entire necessary functions based on movement will not work anymore. You know? And it starts with the piezoelectric effect, which automatically leads to osteoporosis. So this is very, very important from an energetic perspective. So why do we need a clean electromagnetic support? Imagine, you know, 100, 200 years ago where people lived and where we live now. We do not live in a natural environment anymore. We live in the 25th floor of an apartment building. We are far away from the fundamental natural electromagnetic field of the Earth because it's already interfering. The construction density, the concrete. So, you know, some people talk about this nice trend which is called earthing. You heard about this, earthing? Be connected, go barefoot, you know, and all this. There is some idea behind it. It's not BS. There is some good idea behind it, really, you know, get grounded again. Of course, then they start creating gadgets which are a little bit questionable because, yeah, okay, this is another story, but the idea of becoming connected again to our natural environment is pretty good and absolutely the right thing. So we have too many artificial frequencies around you. The interesting thing is, and you probably ask yourself already, that I'm here to tell you something about pulsed electromagnetic fields and how they can impact our health positively. On the other hand, I tell you that electromagnetic waves are bad. Because, you know, if you would be clever, you would probably think, if pulsed or if electromagnetic fields can heal me, why not sitting on this projector 15 minutes if I have chronic back pain? Right? Because something like this, or my computer, I have already at home, so maybe I can utilize this technology. The idea is good. The result will be different for a very, very important reason, because if you apply or if you get exposed to an electromagnetic field, it always depends on the properties of the field. And the properties of an electromagnetic field are mostly defined by the frequency which is applied, the intensity, the volume of the field, and the way how the field is carried from the sender to the receiver. This is the so-called waveform. Those properties have to be in a certain very narrow functional window in order to create a beneficial effect versus the frequencies coming out of this projector, which are more or less a collateral damage of the technology. You know? So this technology exposes an electromagnetic field, but it's not on purpose. It's just because of the design of the device. But I can briefly tell you, you can sit on this projector for 2 hours, your back pain will not get better. It will get worse because you will be exposed to the wrong information. And I always compare it, snake poison. Snake poison can kill you, and snake poison can heal you. It always depends on the dose, right? And the same effect we have with electromagnetic fields. Unfortunately, we exercise less and less, not you, but the people outside. I know you still walk 25 kilometers per day. Almost, yeah. But I want to say, now let's look, how do we utilize this electromagnetic force? And now it's getting really interesting because now we look inside our body. And what's interesting about medicine is that the chemical processes within our body are very well documented. They are scientifically backed up. There's a lot of research, you know. But what actually energetically happens in our body is almost unknown in the classical medical field. You know, I give you an example. Did you ever hear of heart cancer? No. Cancer of the heart?
No.
You know somebody suffering from this? Interesting, right? The heart seems not to turn into a malignant situation, and I can give you the answer why, and you probably now too. The heart has such a high energetic cell potential that it will never turn into a malignant situation. Cool, huh? Wow. If you know your cardiologist, call him tomorrow or ask him next time when you meet him and ask him why there is no heart cancer. He will probably, if he's not holistically educated, not have the answer for you. He will say, this is interesting. I never thought about this. The reason why we don't see heart cancers in people is because the heart cell has such a high energetic potential, it has no time to do something freaky. It's doing its job 100% because it's so high of energy. And that's why it seems that the tissue in the heart doesn't turn over. And now imagine we could improve the membrane potential, not only of the heart cell, because the heart does it by itself, using the AV node, its own battery charger. But now imagine we could do the same idea, what the heart does for the heart cell, with any other cell in the body. This is a pretty cool idea, right? And this is exactly what PEMF can do. Because if we maintain our body function, we use a mechanism which is pretty well known. We call it metabolism. Maybe you heard about this. Everybody has one. Some are good, some are not so good, some are a little bit slow, some are faster, but everybody has it. And everybody needs it, because with metabolism you do the following. Everything what you eat and drink and breathe on a constant basis, day by day, hour by hour, gets inside our body and will somehow reach the cell, at least the surface. This is the membrane here this is a human body cell. So all these minerals, nutrients, the oxygen what we breathe, all the good stuff and bad stuff what we eat finally ends up here. By the way, we are containing of about 70 to 75 trillion of these cells, always depending on size and weight. But on average, 70 to 75 trillion cells. So when this stuff comes to the membrane, there are receptors here. These are little antennas, and they look, they say, this is a vitamin A molecule, I know this, I grab it and take it in. Here we have little ion channels, ION, ion channels, and if your membrane potential is good, those ion channels are widely open and the receptors are carrying all the stuff inside. By the way, not only the good stuff, because if the receptors take the stuff, they might also take some bad stuff with inside. I refer to all the stuff what we eat. So it might happen that also the toxic stuff what we put inside us will end up in the cell inside. Inside this cell, we have a lot of stuff, but the most important instrument inside the cell is the so-called mitochondria. Maybe you heard about this. Mitochondria are little power plants, and they take all this fuel and they start transforming it into energy, chemically known as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So this is the process of metabolism. So this ATP, in return, is again the energy, the chemical energy, which is necessary to maintain all our body functions. Talking, thinking, eating, moving, whatever we do is based on ATP. If we do not have ATP, we are couch potatoes. And now you probably understand if you are a professional athlete, you have a higher running metabolism, so you need more fuel. in order to produce the necessary ATP to create the performance you require. And that's why professional athletes, they have a higher running metabolism. They need more fuel. The better the quality of fuel, the better the quality of the ATP. Does it make sense to you? Okay, and believe it or not, all these processes are pretty much researched on a biochemical perspective. What's missing is the membrane potential of the cell. How does the body create this membrane potential? And I tell you how it does it. We have these bubbles here around, inside the cell, outside the cell. They are called ions, I-O-N. You know this from your smartphone. Because in every smartphone you have a lithium-ion battery. Right? So, when you charge your lithium-ion battery in your smartphone, you actually, technically what you do is, you apply a magnetic field, and this magnetic field is pretty cool for these ions, because when they get electromagnetic potential, for them it's like a kick in the butt, and they start moving. And when the ions start moving, they create an electric potential, which charges, by the way, your lithium-ion battery. So you apply a magnetic field with your charger, which in return kicks the butts of your ion. They start moving and they create an electric potential within the lithium. And the lithium is able to store that for a certain amount of time. This is how the battery of your smartphone works. And after you use the battery, the power inside the battery, the energy, you need to recharge it. We do exactly the same in our body. We need to attract the ions here to move, because when they move, they start to creating the membrane potential of the cell. And we do that. I can make this even hearable for you. If you move over the electromagnetic field of the Earth, you change the static field into an impulse, into a pulse. The faster you move, the faster the pulse. When you stand, no pulse. So the more you move, the more you exercise, the more attracted your ions, the better your membrane potential. That's why people who move are more healthy, because they have a better running metabolism, and a better running metabolism leads to a better cell health. And believe it or not, the cell is and was and will still be the smallest building block in our entire organism. Because a lot of cells together create tissue, a lot of tissue together create an organ, and a lot of organs together create an organ system. So every disease always starts in the smallest building block, which is the cell. If the cell works on its highest potential, your chance of staying healthy, or if you bring back your cells on the highest potential, your chance of becoming healthy again will increase dramatically. Does it make sense? So, remember this when you use the elevator next time. This is the elevator. These are the stages. Okay? Huh? So, and now we still have the problem that our Earth magnetic field is already covered by the concrete and all that stuff what I told you. So, it would make sense that if we have a technology which is capable of providing such a pulsed electromagnetic field with this narrow window of properties of the Earth frequencies, the frequencies of the ionosphere around us, and the intensity of the electromagnetic field of the Earth, and literally mimics this effect. Because when we do this, we increase the membrane potential, and then our cells start working much better. We absorb the stuff which is coming in better, and of course now you also understand why the food, liquid and solid, the quality is so important. Because if we are capable of absorbing more of this stuff, in the same time, if we make sure that the stuff has a good quality, you know, we can burn much better this fuel, and we can produce more and higher quality ATP. Totally makes sense, right? So, this is what's not in the medical books. This is energy medicine. And energy medicine is still not educated in most of the medical facilities. Sad enough. Because this is probably the most fundamental way and the most fundamental choice you have right now to create a really fundamental impact on your health. Improving the smallest, the job and the workflow of your most important and in the same time smallest building block inside you, the human cell. And if you address the right frequencies and address the right intensities, you are able to talk to each of the 75 trillion cells. This is a phenomenon we call resonance. Resonance means that you send out an information which is understood by the receiver and creates a pleasant action. Love. Love is resonant. You know, if you fall in love with somebody, what happens? You know, you send out an information, I like her, and she immediately sends back, and I like you too. And then you fall in love with this person, and then you know what happens when a man falls in love. You know, they do all crazy things. They start cooking. They start making every promise. They really show efforts. They take the TV out of the bedroom. Yeah. They start pulsating. Yeah, but you know, those are the moments where you should be aware of the fact that you have a lot of energy inside you which you never used. And it needs a specific trigger to get this energy out. And it's really happening. By the way, it happens also with ill people. You know, I have this example which I always use because I experienced it on my own. You are in this cancer clinic and you have these two guys, they have the same diagnosis, 6 months to live, you know, and one guy dies after 6 months and the other guy is still alive. Same diagnosis. You know what the difference was? The energy, attitude. You know, the first guy said, yeah, I prepare because if the doctor said I'm gonna die in 6 months, I will die in 6 months. So they literally prepare for it and go for it. And there is this other guy, I said, I give a damn what the doctor says. You know, I don't feel that I'm dying in 6 months. And I don't want to die in 6 months, so I'll do everything to stay alive. And this person is surprisingly still alive. So this attitude. And this is how you can reactivate energy. You always have enough reserve in your body. Whenever you need it, you know, you can get it out. But you have to trigger it. And, you know, men can do this when they fall in love. You know, and then they do the crazy thing because they have this energy. Women do this when they go shopping. I know what I'm talking about. Huh? They can be the most tired human beings in the world, but when they see the red sail, you know, they act like they just wake up after 10 hours of deep REM sleep. And they run into it and they ruin your entire credit card. This is, you know, this is the reserves we have in energy. And this is what PEMF does for you. This is what this technology does for you. If you are exposed to an electromagnetic field, which is, and this is very crucial, it has to be precisely defined in order to be able to resonate with all your 75 trillion cells. You can boost and balance the membrane potential of each cell. Your metabolism will be automatically improved and your energy production optimized. And this is the most fundamental, holistic technology which you can apply to you. There is nothing else which is capable of doing this except PEMF. Nothing else. You know, And it doesn't hurt you. You can lie down, you don't have to do anything, which is nowadays even a problem for people, to lie down for 8 minutes and do nothing. You know, some people we have to literally nail on these mats because they cannot be quiet for 8 minutes. Yeah, it's true. But this is the only commitment you have to make, to be quiet and lay down for 8 minutes. And if you do this twice a day, I promise you, you will become a different person energetically. And you will become more healthy. Proven, granted. This is a very, very cool video. I want to show you this. Because this explains the phenomenon of resonance. This was a test. It was done in a Japanese laboratory with 32 metronomes. You know what a metronome is? The musicians use that, you know, for keeping the pace. So what you see in a couple moments is the following. You will see a surface, and there are 32 metronomes on it, okay? And they are on a movable surface, so that they can vibrate on this surface. What happens now, the first metronome will be kicked on, and then randomly all other 31s as well. And then just observe in 2.5 minutes what happens. I will comment it a little bit. It's pretty cool stuff. Okay, look. This is number 1. And now what they do, they randomly start the others. So what do you think is going to happen? It will take about 2.5 minutes, and all 31 metronomes will tune in to the frequency of this one without touching something. Observe it. And you can see that the surface is free hanging. It's very important when I talk to you later on about the effect which we create in our body using the same principle. You see some of them already tuning in? They really go all after him. The first one who made the pace, this is the sender. All others are the receiver. You see how the surface is moving? Very important. Okay, and then, as always in life, there is this one guy. You know, we know this person or this, you know, there's always this one guy. But I tell you, I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, but he has no chance. It just takes a little bit more time. And then he needs to move over. You see? No chance. And now, all 32 metronomes are tuned in. And what's cool now, this is going on for a long, long time now. I could run these videos for a long, long time, believe me, and nothing would change anymore. So this is resonance. And why I show you this video, there's a reason for it. Because if we send out this kind of property, this vibration, and the vibration has a property which can be understood by the receiver, we can create resonance. Wenn ich jetzt Deutsch spreche, dann wird's schwierig. I changed my language now, so what I did now, I changed the frequency, and you are suddenly not in resonance with me anymore. Did you get it? Because I changed the frequency to a pattern which you cannot understand, and then you need to check out. So a resonance effect you can only create if the information can be understood by the receiver. It's very important, you know? And in our case, the challenge is to provide this pattern, to provide this content of the information, and then once you have this, then your cells, if you are exposed to a PEMF field, your cells start resonating with it and start taking it over. And now comes the cool part. Why the 8 minutes? Because people always tell me, why do you have to lie 8 minutes on it? I can lie 1 hour on it. You can, but it's just waste of time, because what happens is, in 8 minutes, we figured that out, the resonance effect takes place in each of your 75 trillion cells. And now when you turn off the machine, get up and do something else, the resonance effect will last 4 to 6 hours, like the metronomes. Once you bring every cell in sync with the external stimulus, you can take it over and you can carry it on, this effect, for 4 to 6 hours. Yesterday I was in California, we did a speech, there was a doctor, he said he made measurings with our IMRS and Omnium 1 device, and he told me that the resonance effect are even measurable after 5 days, after one application. This is pretty cool stuff. So what you do, coming back to the hard facts, when you use this technology, you create a resonating effect, the body takes over this and keeps on literally giving you a therapy from inside out for the next 4 to 6 hours without doing anything. This is resonance. This is very, very powerful. This is energy medicine. And there is nothing on this planet which can give you this except this technology. This is, by the way, a dark field microscopy of red blood cells. Red blood cells are responsible for carrying oxygen. What you see here, this is the so-called rouleau effect. This is when the red blood cells, they lose membrane potential and they literally start sticking together. So they lose their ability to absorb oxygen and carry it through our entire system. If you do an 8 minutes application on the IMRS or the Omnium 1, your red blood cells will look like this. The membrane potential increases, they start repelling, their surface becomes bigger to absorb oxygen, your entire oxygen delivery in your entire system will be improved right away. For all the sports people, this, by the way, is a white blood cell here, what you see here. For all the sports people in the audience, this is the perfect natural doping. Yeah, because what you do is you just increase the performance of your red blood cells without doing anything wrong. Pretty cool stuff, you know? And you can observe this effect. I can do it with everybody of you. You will see it right away after 8 minutes, you know? I know we get slowly but surely into the real theta waves here in the room. I figured that out. But you know, I flew 12,000 kilometers, so I think I have the right to talk for 90 minutes, right? Now we are almost done, okay? Okay. Pardon? Yeah. We always try to figure out how we can measure the immediate effect of our PEMF devices. And the problem in energy medicine is that if you do something energetically on the body, the classical medical field does not provide the measuring devices to measure this, because they just don't have it. It's not that they cannot do it, but they just don't have these devices. And I'm not sure if you ever heard about Kirlian photography. Somebody heard about this? Yeah, okay, good. So, you know, it sounds a little bit woo-hoo and esoteric or whatever. No, it's not, you know. Actually, what Kirlian photography does, it measures the biophotons. And that's pretty physical. But the problem is it's quantum physics, so people who are basically educated with Newton's physics, which are 100% of the society, or 99.9, they don't know, they don't understand this. But people out of quantum physics, they understand it. What this measuring device does, you put 10 fingers inside a camera, the camera makes a picture of your finger, and the camera is so specific it can measure the biophotons. And because it's the 10 fingers, it reflects on the meridians of traditional Chinese medicine, and then it creates an algorithm and produces a picture. This is actually a picture of your energetic field around your body. Yeah, it's called the aura, but it's pretty physical. It's just, you know, it looks like the aura, but it's actually a picture of your energetic balance inside your body, you know? So we did a random measuring. In this case, this was done in Singapore with a female in the age of mid-40s, and she felt low energy. She felt she was pretty tired and stressed. So we made a measuring before with this device. It's a GDV camera. It's a camera. It's developed by a guy. His name is Professor Korotkov from Russia, St. Petersburg. It's pretty interesting stuff. And, you know, this device is connected to a software and it gives some algorithms, some results. So in this case, it gives you energy of 28 joules. The balance is 79% of the entire body energy. And then we put this lady 15 minutes on one of our whole body mats with a pretty high intensity for a full body mat, but we wanted to see if we can create an immediate effect. We did this for 15 minutes, and then we were waiting 10 minutes because we were looking a little bit on the resonating effect so that the body takes it over, and then we did the same measuring again. And then you can see that her entire energy level increased by more than 60%. And her entire energy field was closed. So there was not one weak spot anymore after one application, you know? By the way, I was talking to Paul today about this technology. He said, I want to get one. So maybe you have the chance to do this measuring, because I referred it to him because it seems like it's pretty reproducible. So it should be a good way to see the evidence of the system right away. So you also can see, this is for the people, they also give you a little bit of an idea how the chakras are aligned. So actually this was the alignment of the chakra before the IMRS application for 15 minutes, and this was after, you know. So we went from 92 to 94% in one application, 8 minutes, right away. And then there is another graph which shows the optimum energy potential, all meridians included, before and after, left side of the body, right side of the body. And this was, you can see here the peaks, this was the meridians, the energy of the meridians before the application, left side, right side, and this was after. And you can see that most of the peaks were already going towards the optimum in the middle. Not all of them, but most of them in one application. So you can probably imagine, if you do this on a consistent basis, how your entire energy level within your body will align and will go in balance. And this is the basis for optimal health. Because if your body works energetically on a high level, there is no reason to freak out in any direction. And this is the cool of it, the cool part of it. So this is more or less basic knowledge about PEMF. I hope you enjoyed this little journey, and I hope I could give you a little bit of an idea what this technology does. You probably figured out I didn't even talk about this system, and I don't have to, technically, because everybody can use this system in 5 minutes. So it's so easy and so simple to use. For me, it was much more important that you understand the basic principle behind it, and that you finally understand, when you are exposed to such a field, what happens inside you. You know, and I tell you, miracles happen inside you, even if you don't feel it. And if you use this consistently, this technology, you will become a different person, definitely. How far you can go with it, that always depends on the individual. I can and will never make any promises, but I know from 20 years of experience and from dealing with millions of people that it makes a difference for everybody. And like I said, I hope you're not too tired. And if you would like to try one of the units, we have a couple here in the back of the room for you. And I already thank you for your patience to sit here so peaceful and quiet, and for your kindness not to fall asleep right away and to listen to me till the end. That's pretty nice of you. And yes, what can I give? What can I tell you as a last idea? Well, people always say, or the smart people always say, that healthy people have many wishes, ill people have only one. I wish you all the best health, and whatever you do, do it with passion, do it with love, and do it with honesty, and you will achieve whatever you want. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.